Hello, my name is Sally Pinto, and I'm the Program Director for the Yonkers Newark Neighborhood Naturally Occurring Retirement Community. We serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We are under the auspices of WJCS and the Yonkers Office for the Aging. We also have a resource specialist and a nurse on staff. We conduct virtual programming in partnership with the Yonkers Public Library on a daily basis. Enjoy the program.
Get started just like we usually do, either seated or standing, nice and elongated through the spine. Think of that length through throughout each vertebrae. We're going to start with our chin tucks for 10, very small range of movement. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now our head turns from side, center, other side, center for 10 total, 5 per side. Here we go. Turn, center, turn, 2. Turn, 3, turn, 4. Turn, 5, turn, 6. Turn, 7, turn, 8. Turn, 9, and turn, 10. Good. Now we can do seated or standing cat-cow. Okay, if you're seated, you're going to come to the edge of your chair. Your hands are on your knees here. Okay, and if you're standing, you're just bent over with your hands on your knees. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to arch the back, tuck the chin, stretch up the spine, and then exhale and reverse it. Your head comes up towards the ceiling. All right, good. And then we're going to tuck and round again. And then exhale, lengthen and lift. Let's go for 3. And up. 4. And up. And one more. 5. And up. Good. From there, we're going to go ahead and do hip circles, 5 each direction. So from the seated, you kind of just circle here. Okay, I'm going to do the standing version. All right, here we go. 5 in one direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now reverse. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right, now we're going to go into a warm-up with 4 exercises. They're actually the same. Our workout today is very similar to last week, so we can kind of get down some of those new movement patterns with a couple tweaks here and there, okay? So instead of last week, we did 2 rounds for 20 seconds each. Today, we're going to do 1 round of each of those 4 exercises for 50 seconds each. Now, remember, that 50 seconds is just a guideline. You work at your own pace. If you need to stop or start later, that's what you do. Our first exercise is just marching in place, okay? So here we are, opposite hand and foot pattern. That's what I want you to focus on, okay? Same thing, seated here. Oops, I'm so small. Seating, okay? Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. I'm gonna do the first 25 seconds seated, and then I'll move to standing. The next exercise we have is that total body extension. So that's where we kind of do that hinge movement where we bend forward and we push our hips back, and then we extend our arms long. They're kind of like a swing or a pendulum. They go up to the ceiling. If you're advanced, you may come up to your tippy toes with your hands overhead, but that's only an option here. All right, we're halfway. I'm just going to move to standing. So we're working on that. Is that opposite knee coming up when the opposite hand is? Just getting all the joints lubricated and moving for the exercises to come. 2 and 1. Okay, so our next exercise is that total body extension. Okay, right like this. All right, if you're really advanced, you can come up on your tippy toes. Here we go. All right, looks the same seated. You're just doing it from a seated position. Your arms are like momentum here. It's your hips driving back and forth, doing the work. Think of squeezing your glutes as you stand up. And think of the power of your glutes being squeezed as what's helped making that momentum of your arms standing or swing up. Go at your own pace. My pace may be too fast. You don't want to get dizzy. We have 10 more seconds here. 2, and 1, okay? Next, we have our lateral two-step with our jab. We did this in our workout last week. So it's step, step, jab, okay? Step, step, jab. If you're seated, I'll do this seated. Step, step, jab, all right? Step, step, jab. Step, step, jab, all right? At your own pace. That's why I'm going to go to the standing option. We're going to be doing these again in our workout. So we're practicing right now because we are doing them again. Five more seconds. And time. Okay, our last warm-up move is hook, hook, jab, jab, okay? So hook, hook, jab, jab. Here we go. First half seated. Hook, jab, jab. Oops. Past halfway. We'll be doing these again in the workout too. And time. Okay, that's our 4-minute warm-up. We're going to go into our first block. Our first block is going to be a 40 seconds of work and 10 seconds of transition or recovery time. As always, remember these times are a guide, okay? Go at your own pace, quality repetitions over a whole bunch of reps in that time frame, okay? We are doing our squat, curl, and press, okay? So squat, curl, press, okay? Now your seated version is leg extension, curl, press, okay? After that, back to that lateral two-step and jab. Now here, like we just did in our warm-up, here, if you would like, option, okay? Add your dumbbells, jab, okay? Keep those dumbbells in your hand or those water bottles, okay? So you can weight these if you don't have to, but you can if you'd like to challenge yourself, okay? The next one, and again, this is gonna look the same as our warm-up, okay? The next one is RDL and row. So if you're seated, you're on the back of your chair, hinging, grabbing those weights or those imaginary weights, rowing up, and then completing the hinge, okay? We're all good at this one by now, right? Okay, so we have this combination, and then our last one, once again, optional weights. Here's our warm-up move again. Hook, hook, jab, jab. You do not need to use the weights. Be careful of your face if you do choose to use the weights, okay? But it'll just give you a little extra intensity if you're ready for that, okay? 40 seconds is going on the clock. Round one, I am doing seated. We are starting with our squat, curl, and press. All right, let's see here. 40 seconds. I just set all these new timers up a second ago. Here we go. All right, squat, curl, and press, or alt leg extension, curl, and press. Ready, and begin. All right, so I'm doing the seated variation for round one. Very intentional and thoughtful movement. Think about what you're doing. Keeping your core strong. Don't rush the movement, right? Give the attention each movement deserves. Okay, there's 3 separate exercises we're doing here. Our squat pattern or leg extension, depending on whether you're seated or standing, our bicep curl, and our overhead press. Good. 2 and 1. Okay, next is our lateral two-step and jab. Remember, option if you'd like to hold on to your weights for this one. It's just to intensify it. You don't need to do it, okay? Here we go. Lateral two-step, jab. Good, we're almost there. Coordination factor here. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Moving on to our RDL row, that hinge pattern with the bent over row, and then we're going to finish off that hinge pattern, okay? Here we go. Let's begin. Hinge, row it, and then bring it back up. Remember, when you're standing, when you're bringing your torso back up, think of your glutes as lifting your upper body, okay? You're getting these hamstrings and glutes. All right, nice neutral spine, the shoulders back. When you're rowing, when you're doing the row part, whether you have weights in your hands or not, you're thinking of your lat muscles in your back. So they're the muscles that kind of wrap around the sides of your rib cage. Remember, we're always more concerned about quality time over quantity. All right, now we have hook, hook, jab, jab. Optional dumbbells here. Just again, be careful if you choose to use your dumbbells. Just watch your face, okay? Feel that extra weight. If you're holding those dumbbells, it's definitely going to intensify it. Even if you're like, you know what, halfway through, I think I need to put them down and finish the rest body weight. That's perfectly fine and time. All right, that's round 1. We're moving back to the top with our squat, curl, and press. Okay, I'm going to transfer to standing exercises here. Remain seated if you prefer. Here we go. Squat, drive it up, curl, press. Remember, give each single exercise the attention it deserves, driving through the heels as you stand up from your squat. All right, squeezing your glutes at the top, giving me that bicep curl into that overhead press. Almost there. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Next, we're going into lateral two-step to jab, okay? Seated or standing option in 3, 2, and 1. Remember, those dumbbells or weights are optional. Keeping that core engaged. I want you to think if somebody were trying to punch you in the stomach, you're braced for it, right? You're like, oh, I know that person's coming with their fist there, like, keep that core engaged. That's what keeping the core engaged feels like. My arms are tired holding these weights. I don't know about you guys if you are. So I said, if you even need to, put them down halfway through, that's okay. And time, okay. Our RDL, or that hinge pattern to row. I like to do this one from the side profile so you see my neutral spine. Here we go. My feet are about hip width apart. I'm gonna row it, bring it back, Squeeze my glutes up. You can feel how different this lower body movement pattern feels, this hinge pattern, from our sit squat, right? See, when we're doing our sit squat, we still initiate through our hips, but then we get this, this greater knee bendment that we do in this exercise because our chest stays up higher with the squat. With the hinge, we lower our chest and make almost like a tabletop with our back. And time. Okay. Hook, hook, and jab, jab. Remember, optional weights. Okay. Here we go. And begin. These boxing moves are great for the core, great for the back, great for the arms, and great for conditioning too. And just kind of fun. Less than 10 seconds. And time. Okay, we have one more round to go through and then we're going to break, okay? Back to the top with our squat, curl, and press. Ready? And begin. Remember, your seated option is that leg extension, curl, and press. Thoughtful movement. Stay present with your body. It's always talking to us, right? Listen to its feedback. Really pressing my heels into the ground when I stand up from that squat. That helps get my glutes involved. Almost there, 2 and 1, okay? Lateral two-step to jab with or without the weights. You may find round 1 and 2, you did great with the weights, but round 3, you're just like, I think I'm gonna pass on this. Here we go. That's fine, okay? So tailor your workout to you. Ten more seconds here, and we're going back to our cardio row. And time. Woo! All right. Cardio row is next for 40 seconds. Here we go. Feet are about hip width apart. We're going to hinge down, whether you're seated or standing. Row it up, bring it back, and then squeeze the glutes to elevate the torso. You should feel that work in the back muscles and also probably even more so in the glutes and the hamstrings. The back of the legs and the butt. 5 more seconds. 2 and 1. Excellent. We're all done with those. All right. Optional weights here for our hook, hook, jab, jab combo. We rest after this one. Ready? Begin. Remember, just be careful of your face here. You're holding on to those weights. Go at your own pace. Almost there. 3, 2, and 1. All right. Woo, first 10 minutes in the books, okay? So last week that was 8 minutes long. We did 30 seconds of work and 10 seconds recovery. So it's definitely I don't know about you guys, but I felt that extra 10 seconds at the end of those rounds. So again, use that time as a guide. You know, it's all about the quality of your movement. Slow it down, take a break. You know, just it's not, I have to go until that timer rings. Okay, just, you know, listen to what your body's telling you. So our next one is going to be 45-15. We've got our moving lunges. Okay, so remember our seated option is our leg press all on one side. You know, I'm a big fan. Okay. Our moving lunges, let's just pretend at the moment that chair is right here, holding onto the back of my chair. I'm going to step it back, lower down, lift it up, bring it back. I just want to go over again, when you're doing that, because you're going to be moving your foot every time. When you step back, I want you to think about the space from this leg to this leg. Okay, remember how I say, like, think of those railroad tracks, and you want to keep one leg on one railroad tie and one leg on the other railroad tie. You don't want to get too far back like this. It's going to challenge your balance, okay? And we want to challenge the muscle, okay? So just think of kind of like back and out, okay? So you have that space between the legs. And if it's just too much, stay right here. Don't move. Keep your feet stationary, okay? All right, options, right? Okay, so one leg and then the other. And then, oh boy, did I love this one. With our chair, we're holding this, we're gonna do our row, kick back. Okay, so this is combining our back muscles right here, and then our tricep muscles right here in one combination movement. I really enjoyed that last week. With or without, just use your mind, connect to your mind if you're not using weights, okay? You can do that with a kettlebell too. All the same, what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna hold it. I know I have some kettlebell users in here. A little more like this, because when I row, kick back, it's just an easier, having the weight, the bulk of the weight right here is a little bit easier for the kickback than if it's right here, okay? Just makes it, I mean, if you can do it that way, that's fine. But just might help a little bit. All right, guys, enough talking. Our moving lunge for 45 seconds, or for round one, you know, the seated options here. So I am going with our seated leg press, all on one leg. Okay, remember it's either seated leg press or moving lunge, okay? Or our split squat lunge where you keep the feet planted, okay? 3, 2, and 1, here we go. In the leg press, I'm really making a mind muscle connection here, right? Because we have to, because we're not using weight. So you have to create the weight in your mind. You got to create that resistance. Think of really pushing something heavy away from you with that foot, the heel of the foot, right? And lengthening the leg, all right? Feeling the top of the leg work, feeling the back of the leg and the glute work. I did a bunch of squats this morning, so I'm really feeling this in my quad already. Like I said, I love this one. This burns. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, good. And if you have sore knees or anything like this, this may be your option to go instead of those lunges, okay? So don't be afraid to regress to save and keep your body feeling good, okay? 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. And this block is a 12-minute block, and we're working on single limb patterns here, right? So we're working each leg individually. We'll be working each back muscle individually, each lat, and we'll be working each tricep muscle individually. All right, so sometimes when we work them together at the same time, our stronger one has a tendency to help out our weaker one. It's just, you know, our body's kind of like built amazing to make sure we can keep on moving. But, you know, that creates imbalances. Our body's trying to help us, but it creates imbalances. And time, all right? Our single arm row to kick back. Okay, so you can hold on to the back of your chair if you're standing here. All right? And 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna row, kick back. And it's kind of like that lawnmower pull, Okay, think of that lawnmower. You're like rowing on that diagonal. Yeah, so like I was saying, by training the muscles individually, one at a time, your stronger one cannot help and assist your weaker one. The weaker one has to do the work, right? And that's what makes it get stronger, right? Always listen to your body. Discomfort is one thing, a little muscle discomfort and fatigue, but you know, acute pain, sharp pain, you know, that means you need to stop or modify, okay? And time, okay? We've got to hit the other side. All right, so seated position. I'm starting with that lawnmower pull. Here we go. Row, and then kick back. Good, past halfway. And we're gonna go back to either our seated leg press on one leg or our lunges. I will be moving to the lunges for the next 2 rounds. But please stay with the seated leg press if that's best. Especially if you have sore feet or knees, okay? 2 and time, okay? Top of round 2. Spin my chair here for a lunge. All right, let me lay down. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. Step it back, lunge. Remember that front leg is the leg that you're predominantly working, okay? We're gonna make sure that heel stays planted in the ground and that you're able to press down into the ground as you elevate your body back up with that heel. Think of this as just getting as many quality repetitions as you can in that time frame, okay? Only the quality reps, so slow your pace down or take a little breather in between to ensure you get good ones. 3, 2, and 1, okay? Other side. Let's get ourselves positioned. Might be feeling a little breathy at this point. 3, 2, and 1. Step it back, slow it down, drive up, bring it back. You might be ready to challenge yourself where you use a really light touch on the chair, maybe just one hand on the chair, okay? You know your body, you know if you're advanced enough to do that. Good, we're almost there. We've got 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, switching from the lower body back to the upper body with our row to kick back, okay? All right, so standing variation here. I'm just putting my weight on the chair here, all right? And I'm gonna let go that lawnmower pull, that diagonal pull, and then a kick back. Remember, we're working 2 different muscle groups here. The row, we get the lat, and the kickback, we get the tricep. Good, we're almost there. We have 5 more seconds on this side. 2 and 1. Okay, switching sides here. Gotta stay even. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Row to kick back. Bring it back. try to look at a spot like forward in the room. Like, don't look at your feet so that your neck is not in line with your spine. Try to keep them in line because that helps with your breathing too. Okay, you're not blocking off your airway by putting that kink in your neck there. Okay, just making it a little harder to get a nice quality breath. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we've got one more round. All right, so seated leg press or our moving lunge, or you could just keep that lunge stationary if that's best. Okay, we've got 5 seconds to start. Last round here. 2 and 1. Step it back, lower down, drive it up, bring it back. Staying present. This is your self-care right here. Your time to take good care of your body. Start your day off on a positive note here. We got 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, shake it out. We're all done with that leg. One more leg to go. Deep breaths. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step it back, lower down, drive it up, bring it back. Okay, at your pace. Think about that front leg. You might feel some of the work in the back leg. That's okay. But think and focus on that front leg. Pressing that heel into the floor to elevate, squeeze that glute. We have 10 more seconds left here. And time, okay. Our row to kick back on each side. Then after we do both sides, we're gonna rest. We have one more block to get through. Slight tweak on this last block coming up too. Here we go. Row to kick back. 3, 2, and 1. So that lawnmower pull to a kick back. And they're each its own distinct movement, right? We can count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? If that helps with coordination, count it while you're doing it. Ten more seconds on this side. 2, and 1. Okay, other side, we're gonna break. Get a drink. I mean, you can always drink in between whenever you want, but get up. Me explaining the next set break. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. That lawnmower pull to kick back. I'm thinking about my back muscle on the side I'm working, and I'm thinking about the tricep. The lawnmower pull is your back. The kickback is your tricep. Almost done. 10 more seconds. 2, and 1. Okay. Rest and recover here. We have one more block. And we've got our sumo squats. I'm switching something up on the sumo squats here. This is for the standing variation. Depending on your depth, you might want to try this. Okay, so we usually do them just like this. You may want to try still staying wide, and this is just an option, okay, still staying wide in that sumo stance, okay, so my feet are wider than my shoulders, right, my feet are outside of my shoulders, my toes are facing out to the diagonal, and I'm gonna sit down, okay, or sit squat, and then drive up from there, okay, so it's our sit squat, but from our sumo stance. You may find you just get a little deeper into the squat, but you have the reassurance that the chair is there, that you're not gonna, you know, go too low to the point you can't get back up, okay? It's an option, you don't have to do that. If you prefer the sumo squats the way we've been doing it, please stay there. And weights are always an option too, okay? So you just would hold your weights here in the center if you'd like, okay? Now, remember, our seated option for that one is always our leg, extension, okay? That way we get the sides and the fronts here, okay? Modified jumping jacks are after that. Okay, that is the same as last week, okay? Our last one, I'm switching up a little bit. We did plain hinges last week, like so, okay? However, this week, we're going to add a bicep curl to it, all right? So what it's gonna look like, you're gonna feel this in your core a lot. So you're going to hinge, bring it back up, curl, okay? You have to keep your body really tight, not to use momentum with your bicep curl, okay? So hinge, finish the hinge, bicep curl, okay? My knuckles stay facing out to the sides the whole time. If you're seated, hinge, up, curl, okay? All right, so first one I'm doing modified, remember that sumo squat or sumo sit squat, okay? Important thing, if you're doing the standing variation, feet wider than your shoulders, toes facing out. When you sit it down, the knees stay in the direction as your toes, okay? This helps strengthen your glutes, all right? Seated version, we're doing lateral tap to leg extensions. All right, 45 seconds is going on the clock. Here we go, in 3, 2, and 1. So I'm doing lateral tap, leg extension, lateral tap, leg extension. Good, really focus, right? Really pressing, if you're doing the standing version especially, you're pressing the feet into the floor to elevate your body back up to standing. Feel the glutes activate by doing that. Developing that mind muscle connection through our movement patterns is really important. 3, 2, and 1, okay? Modified jumping jacks are next. If you're advanced, you can spice it up and throw some regular ones in there, okay? In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Getting a little cardio burst here. Getting your joints to go through the range of motion. Halfway. Ooh. 10 more seconds, we got this. I'm feeling it in round 1. 3, 2, and time. Good, shake those arms out, you feel them? Okay, RDL, our hinge pattern, just like in the first block, okay? But instead of a row, we're gonna hinge down, hinge up, and then give me a bicep curl, okay? 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna hinge it down, squeeze the glutes to bring it up, and now core tight as we bicep curl, bring it back. Good. Hinge, up, bicep curl. Hinge, up, bicep curl. Good. All right, you keep up your momentum. Remember, we're pushing those hips back, keeping the shoulders back too, so that we have a nice neutral spine as we tilt forward. with the hips pushed back. And time. Okay, that's round one. Moving on to Sumo Sit Squats again, or just Sumo Squats, or a lateral tap the leg extension. I'm going to move to the Sumo Sit Squats. All right, so I'm wider than shoulder width, toes are out. All right, optional weights. I'm going to keep my weights in the center, tap it down, squeeze and drive it up, okay? Should feel this a little bit on the outside of your glutes here, okay? And your inner thighs. And you might find you like this variation a little better because you might end up getting a little bit lower because you have the comfort of the chair knowing that it's there behind you. Good, 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, okay. Modified jumping jacks are next. We've got 45 seconds of those. In 5, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Right here is great. If you're advanced, you might do something like this, right? It's your workout. You know your body. We're almost on these. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Woo, okay. Going back to that RDL to bicep curl, that hinge pattern to curl. Okay, 2 separate exercises put together. Okay, feet are underneath your hips here, toes forward. Here we go. We're going to push our butt back, tilting forward, and then squeeze the glutes to bring it back. And now getting a bicep curl. Hinge, up, bicep curl. Hinge, squeeze up, bicep curl. Feel how your core really kind of engages for that bicep curl to keep everything nice and quiet as you lift those weights up. Bicep curl. Five more seconds here, then we'll do one more round. 2, and 1. Okay, final round. So if you're seated, you're doing your lateral tap to leg extension, or you're doing this Sumo Sit Squat, or just our regular Sumo Squat that we usually do, okay? 3, 2, and 1. Tap it down, squeeze. Good. So I kind of feel this on the outside of my glutes a little bit as I squeeze with my feet wide, okay, and my toes out. And I also feel my inner thighs. Okay, so it's just changing, working the muscle in the legs and glutes at just a little bit of different angle. We're three-dimensional, so we want to make sure we're well-rounded with our variations here. Good, 5 more seconds. 2, and 1, okay. Weights aside if you're using them. We have modified jumping jacks next. Here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. Classic exercise, calisthenic exercise right here. It's good for our soldiers, our Army guys, our Marines, Navy, Air Force. If it's good enough for them, then it's good enough for us, right, guys? Incorporate this kind of training into their workouts. 2 and 1. Okay. Whew. Final exercise. That hinge, our RDL, our hinge movement, and into a bicep curl. All right. With or without your weights. Feet, whether you're seated or standing, are under your hips. Here we go. We're going to hinge. Squeeze the glutes to come up. Core tight, and then bicep curl. Nice and mindful. Feel those hamstrings and glutes working. And then your biceps and core at the top. We are finished after this one, guys. Less than 10 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. All right. Weights down. If you're using them, go ahead and get a drink. We're just going to briefly stretch out our muscles and then be on with our day. Okay. So whether you're seated or standing, I always like to do this neck and trap area. It's just a gentle pull. Okay. And a gentle press so you can get deep into this neck area here. Okay. And a nice inhale and exhale. Good. And then let's just gently come out of that and even out by doing the same thing on the other side. Good. And then from here, let's take one arm and cross it across the body. I really like to visualize with this one here. I like to think of that back shoulder blade. Imagine those muscle fibers in the shoulder blade. Even if you don't really know what they look like, just pretend you do. Imagining them lengthening, okay, and stretching, okay. That mindfulness, that connection, you know, it actually really does help get you to feel it in your body more, okay. Good. Same thing other side, okay. Cross the body like you're hugging that arm in. That side view and visualize. You might notice one side feels easier than the other, or tighter than the other, looser. It's okay. Just take notice to it. Good. And then let's do a dynamic stretch here, just like we did in our warm-up. We're going to do standing cat-cows for 5 or seated, okay? So I'm going to do the standing version to close out with. We're going to round up, tuck the chin, and then exhale, reverse that movement. And again, 2, 2, and 3, 3, and 4, 4, and 5, and 5. Good. All right, let's go ahead into the lower body here. Let's stretch our hamstrings. If you're standing and you're able to, you can go ahead and prop your foot up onto your chair or something like a bench if the chair is too high. All right, and if you don't have anything like that, then you can do this from your seated variation too. Just kind of towards the edge of your chair. Okay, and you're leaning and holding on. All right. So I like the standing one. I just get a little more out of that one. So I'm just gonna finish here. Good. Let's go ahead and do the other side. Good. And then let's go ahead and get our groin and hip flexor. If you've been with me from the start, you might do like this one a lot. Okay, we're gonna extend one leg straight. I'm closer towards the edge of my chair, and I'm leaning, trying to feel that stretch through that groin and inner thigh right here. Breathing. Okay, gently come out of that. And then the same thing, other side. All right, guys, coming out of that one there. And then just 2 big inhales up with our palms coming to heart. Ready? Inhale, palms together. Exhale to heart. And one more. Inhale, palms together. Exhale to heart. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the workout.
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis and Barbara from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Westchester County Legislator Ruth Walter, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.